Hello everyone, Bigdos is here and welcome to another video. In this video we're gonna compare the three hunter specs against each other. We're running this with a beast mastery, a survival and a marksmanship hunter. Before you go all keyboard warrior on that this is not a fair comparison, you are right. There is a difference. First of all, it is a pug run. I do not know the skill level of every of these guys, and so I don't know how they compare to each other. Besides that, the survival hunter is pre-made with the tank and healer, and so he knows how the pools are going. The marksmanship hunter and me, we don't know in advance how the pools will be going. Besides that, also the marksman has the 4 set, while the BM, me and the survival both have the 2 set. So I know in advance it's not a fair comparison. But it doesn't mean that it's not going to be fun and we're not going to just look on how things pan out, how it looks, and well, maybe we get a bit of an idea on how the specs compare towards each other. If this is something that you like, then consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. It helps me out a ton. And before we finally dive in, I want to thank every one of you guys for the massive support that I'm getting. I'm at 1,000 subs right now, which is amazing. I didn't think I would even make that, or let alone reach it way before the time that I was actually thinking about getting it, which was around July. I hoped that I would reach it, so thank you so much for the support. And furthermore, well, that's it. Let's dive right in. So in the bottom right corner of the screen you can see the overall damage overall and the damage currently, and so we're just gonna look on how they compare. And in the starting pool, the starting 2 pools, the survival hunter is coming up on top. Item level wise, everyone is about the same. Everyone is about 2, 6, 7-ish, around that item level. So that kind of like that's fine. There I chose to move back a bit because it is currently mob week, so the mobs take longer, of course, and this plague belcher does a frontal, the belch plague, which hurts like hell. And as you can see there, the tank got hit and he lost a quarter of his health, and he is the tank, so I'm not gonna test that. That's why I pay attention to where I'm going. Here, of course, I'm holding on to my wild spirits because I'm not going to use it at the end of this pool. That would be kind of a waste. So now I am thinking, alright, and me and the marksman, we were both thinking on going towards the red blob, which you really want to speed up things. But apparently we were not going to do that, and so we are just diving right into this. If you are a tank and you are watching this, then please, by all means, even if you do not have a necro lord, which happens a lot of the time, if you don't have a necro lord, then still make sure that you are going and grab the red blob, because your DPS can just stand in it, and that helps out a lot. There you see a bunch of frost traps going out. Everyone is just instantly going to CC that mob, and in single target the marksman is actually pulling ahead, which is quite surprising to me. I thought marksman was not really good in single target. I thought that they were very bad at it, and so I'm kind of surprised that he was pulling ahead. I have to look more into it. I'm currently learning marksman a lot, applying some keys, trying to learn the spec a little bit more so I can make a guide for you guys. So yeah. But I didn't think marksman would be okay in single target. I thought BM would have beaten them by now. And as you can see, I'm currently lowest on the DPS ladder for that boss fight. So yeah. Now we go on to this blighted spine breaker. There it is. This pull, you can easily pull it with the 2 wretched plague borers on the right side, but this of course bolstering, so you want to be a little bit wary because you don't want to bolster the blighted spine breaker too much. There was a binding shot already out, a little bit early if you ask me, because now the mobs will start walking, but it is fine. and now we just keep on continuing DPSing this guy. You don't really want to pull the two blade boards. Well, you can pull them now, but yeah. Now you're gonna bolster them, which is fine, they're not so bad. What I do here is I just pop my turtle and I just click cheetah and just run over them. That way the tank doesn't have to walk over them, because if the tank walks over them and the damage is already really high, and this area of the dungeon is really high tank damage, so that way you actually just make it a little bit easier for your tank. As you can see, if you look around the route and how we're playing this, is a pretty slow route. Like now we're doing a 2-pack. The 2-pack is never really worthwhile. You want to group up a little bit more than what we are currently doing. But yeah, it is what it is, and we just follow the tank route. We have plenty of damage to do it. And here I just stand in the red ooze, and that's why I said it earlier. Make sure that you pull the red block, because if I stand in the red ooze, you can see my haste is currently at 63%, which is pretty good. So yeah, you really want to do this. Of course, it is mob week, and so this red ooze actually does hurt quite a bit. So make sure that you move out when you are getting low, so your healer doesn't have to like strain too much. So yeah. Make sure you do that. Besides that, the marksman is really popping off that pull. We have our cooldowns now, so we're gonna just try and destroy this pack. We are Night Fae, and because we are Night Fae with the double legendary, we double hit on 4 or less targets. So as you can see, we are clearly pulling ahead in this pack damage wise. So yeah, this is a good pull for us, making sure that we are also still competing in the damage meters, which is difficult, and by now you get a slight sense on how the damage is going. So put in the comment section which spec do you think will absolutely win this race, and if there is like maybe how do you say that in English? What do you not expect? Like, which spec do you think will come last? Rank the 3 of them. That's what I'm trying to say. Great sentence. Great sentence. Sorry about that. Just rank the 3 of them. Would be cool. Now, usually I'm used to going to the rotten marrow slimes on the left side, because we just used our CDs, but we are using this pack. And it's quite a bit, yeah, it's awkward because we don't really have any CDs for this except for our bestial rat, which is fine. Always make sure as a hunter, or as any spec really, that cost that I just kicked earlier, the gripping something, make sure that you are aware that it's going to be cost, and make sure that you use your interrupt on that. And why is that? Because the gripping thingy will grip everyone, and then these columns will come out of the ground, and if everyone is gripped, then that is a wipe for your party. So make sure that you actually deal with that properly. So yeah, do that. You can just prevent that. It's one kick, and then by the time that the kick went through, he's probably dead before he casts it again, so you will be good. Here we didn't have bestial rat for this, so this was not really optimal. I could have waited with using my wild spirits, but then I had to use wild spirits on this pack, which would also be fine, because now I'm going into this pack without any proper CDs as well. You will see the CD usage on this entire dungeon run on my end is not that great. That is the downside of not knowing how your tank is gonna pull. If you are familiar with your tank and you know which route he's gonna take, and it's so much easier than when you do not actually know it. Besides bolstering, we have quaking, of course. Quaking is really a non-affix. It doesn't bother us in the slightest. We just move around a bit, and yeah, that's fine. What I tend to do is make sure that I actually hit the relic that I want down, I just make sure that I do a kill command and maybe a cobra shot in it before I go and do my AoE rotation. That is because I have noticed in the many fog runs that I do that if everyone just starts blasting AoE, then for some reason you always get woe. You don't want woe, so unless you're gonna skip, you don't really want it. So yeah. Now this is always awkward. I have all my CDs up. Here you can see I was checking the tier set. This is the Survival Hunter. He has the 2 tier set. But what you on this pool, like I have everything up, but I don't really want to use my cooldowns here because the plague borers are gonna explode. They're gonna kill the tentacle, and yeah, it's no use to using the CDs here. So this area I'm always holding all my CDs until I get to the final mob of this, like, how do you say, this gauntlet thing. Besides that, what I'm doing, and that is more like numbers, I should not be using multi-shot here, and currently I'm not doing it anymore because I was thinking about it, because it's not effective damage if you use multi-shot there, because you don't really need to damage the plague borers. You only need to kill the primary target. So here I make sure that I hit the CDR one again, and now I'm just gonna go and start blasting, and now I do actually need to AoE because I actually do need to kill the one as well. So this is quite important to do. There we go. Easy blast. And now I'll do the next attack. So far you can see that the marksmanship hunter is really pulling ahead. Me and the survival hunter are about on the same page. I was planning on doing a survival hunter run for this and making just a guide. No, not a guide really, just wanted to show you this run as a survival hunter, but I got invited into this group, and getting invited into groups is quite difficult for some reason, I don't know why, but I got invited in this group and I saw that 2 other hunters were already in, and I saw 1 survival and 1 marksman, so I couldn't let it slide and really wanted to just throw in a BM here. But I was planning on actually making a survival video for this one. And shortly I will put on polls again on which dungeon which dungeon you guys want to see. But as you can see, I'm currently sitting into another room because we have been remodeling our house a bit, and I have not really had the time to look for specific kind of keys. If I had time to play, then I would just go into whichever group I was invited into. So yeah. Here you really want to skip this pack and do this pack at the last possible, at the last one, and do this pack which we're gonna do now. You want to do that first, because there again there's a red blob. The red blob gives us about 65% haste, and so yeah, we really want to make sure that we deal with that properly. Our marksman friend here is currently still on 2 targets, which if he doesn't have the 4 set, he can't really do effective damage on 2 targets, because when he does multi-shot, it only registers on 3 targets. Unless you have the 4 set, because then when you use 40 focus, then you get your trick shots, which will like cleave your aim shot and rapid fire. And because he had the 4 set, he was still able to do effective damage even on 2 targets. If he was running a 2 set with the rest of us, then his damage there would be a lot lower. And I think in the overall run of this, his damage would be quite a bit lower. But yeah, nonetheless, he's also playing very, very well, which is also nice. And we make sure that we use disengage to get across. Besides, if you are doing this dungeon, make sure that you clear the red mob last, then don't use your Bloodlust on that platform, because everyone has haste. Even if you don't have a Necrolord, if everyone is standing in the red ooze, then you have enough haste to clear that platform. Then when he jumps, then you do Bloodlust. Now we did Bloodlust before, because, well, Shane pressed the fucking button. It wasn't really necessary, but that is something really that you can do to speed up your run. So if you are a tank and you're watching this, then make sure that you do that. Could be nice. And because someone actually responded in one of my videos that he was a tank, that's why I'm gonna just mention it again. If you guys are still watching this and you like this content, then consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. It helps me out a ton and it would be greatly appreciated. Besides that, if you have feedback from me on things that I can do to improve my channel, then by all means let me know, because that would really help me out. Here I'm actually always trying to, although there is no, how do you say that, effective damage on Dr. Icarus here, because of the purple slime, he gets like 70% reduced damage or something. So you do have to kill the purple slime first, but make sure that you do actually use your barb shot on Dr. Icarus, because you want still the damage to tick on him, even though it's not that much. You still want to do that. So and now we have cleared Dr. Icarus. Again, my DPS on single target is lower than both the marksman and the survival, which is surprising to me. I thought that BM would be the strongest in single target, and maybe with the force that we are, but comparing this currently, we are actually not. So yeah, that was actually quite a bit of a surprise for me. And also rewatching this, yeah. I thought BM would have been stronger on that front. This pool, you really want to either grab the Defender of Many Eyes and the Gushing Slime on the central platform, or the ones on the right platform with the relics, because this pool is actually quite scary here, and this pool is scary because you don't have much room. You can't really move to other platforms or something, and there's a lot of goo on the ground, and still you want to make sure that you clear this. And with bolstering, if you focus the wrong one and the giant mob gets bolstered here, it could be really dangerous. I decided to use my cooldowns there to make sure that the platform is done. I don't think it was the best plan, but because we're now going to do a single pool before we actually are going to do a full pool, it's better to use it than sit on it, because I was not going to use it on this one and then I would be sitting on it for way too long. Here everyone was aware that you do not want to kick that cost, because when that cost happens, he is not actually doing anything. So you don't want to kick it. You just want the mob to just do it. You don't want to go and cast stealth links, because then you have to use your kicks. And you want to really hold your kick for the Defender of Many Eyes here, because he's now doing his bulwark. And when he does his bulwark, he's not, or everyone in the bulwark does not take damage, or almost no damage. So you really want to make sure that you do handle that properly. And then you want to use your intimidation to either stun it or use your frost trap to make sure that you cancel it as well. For people that are running Plaguefall a lot, you will notice that the run that we are doing, the count is way off. We are not doing a proper run, which gives me the feeling that the tank didn't really know what to pull, but that it is fine. We have enough DPS to make sure that we clear it in time. Here, stealth link cost, and there the Defender of Many Eyes did his bulwark thing. Make sure that you use some sort of interrupt. Luckily we had someone else do an interrupt, so that was fine. I'm glad the tank actually backpedaled back into my, how do you say, wild spirits, because that way I could deal more damage, which was nice. Bulwark, someone used a frost trap and I used my intimidation as well. That is when you have so many hunters, then you can do that.
You will not stop me.
Now onto this boss, and I really like the marksman hunter in this run. Really is also quick on using his flares and traps to make sure that the ads are free and as range. That is easier to do than as how do you say that, as survival. But as you can see, I was also instantly running to make sure that they use my flare there to free those mobs, because you don't want to have them to be in the webs for too long, because that way if they are in the web for too long, then that way they deal a lot of damage, so you don't want that to happen. That's why you make sure that you run over there, and this tank is really not running that quickly. He is a Paladin tank, so they are not the quickest, but yeah. Here I'm holding on to my cooldowns, especially because I want like this to happen first. I want these ads to be good before I use everything. So that is the reason why I was holding my cooldowns for just a second there.
My blades will rend your flesh.
So far the run is going very smoothly, no death yet, so that is nice. I have to make sure that I walk in. The survival was blocking it a bit. That was a very good trick he did there with his turtle. Especially on boss week, those mobs actually tend to really hit pretty hard, or when you have the purple circle on you, that hit really hits hard. So you either want to use your survival of the fittest, your 20% damage reduction with Feign Death, to reduce the damage by about 28%, 30%. So you want to do that. Besides that, what you want to do is make sure that you use your turtle. I don't know, I missed a bit of communication here, because the marksman hunter was actually running and grabbing these two mobs. So I missed that part, but it's really nice that he did, because again, otherwise it would be two pulls, which would not be great. So yeah, there's the bulwark. So my stun was on cooldown, that's why I threw the trap to stop it, because you can just do that with your frost trap. And now we are running to the boss, and as you can see now, the shaman and the tank are not joining. I have noticed a little too late, but what happened was that our hunter who came back managed to pull some mobs in his way over here, and so we had to clear that first. I don't know where he pulled these, I don't know how, but he managed to do so. It's not really a big deal. This could really be a tilter if you are fighting against the clock, but because we are really not fighting against the clock that much, it's fine. It does, however, lower our overall DPS by quite a lot, because yeah, we're just standing there not doing really anything and not doing any effective pulls. There we bugged a little through the room, but we're fine, we're fine. So far, as you can see, the marksman is really pulling ahead in damage wise. The survival and me are still about even. For some reason, I get the feeling when I play survival that survival should be doing more damage, but I'm not sure. So yeah, I'm really not sure. and now we just blast these mobs to pieces. And I was thinking that I was actually doing a lot of damage, and then I look at the meters and this marksman was like doubling my damage easily. So yeah, it was a bit awkward. And now our tank didn't move to the next pack. Our tank is just standing there. And so I sent my pets in. Then my pets died because they got aggro, which is the downside of having pets, which is the upside of being marksman, for example. And besides that, because my pets died, I thought, well, let's rest them. And because I'm never thinking about quaking, because quaking doesn't really affect me in any way, shape or form, it does actually affect me when I do my pets, when I deal with them. So yeah, that was really awkward. That's why I was nature locked there. This was a bit of a dangerous pull, like pulling all the mobs together, but with binding shot, keeping them apart, it is fairly easy to not bolster all of them. Like bolster one by all 3 packs, that would have been really dangerous for the tank, especially if it was a big one, which you can't CC. The small ones you can just actually CC, so that's pretty easy. And yeah, here we pull ahead on the survival hunter because he's dead and he can't really participate. Otherwise I think our damage would have been closer, but because he died here, it's a bit of an awkward position for him. But yeah, that's also part of the DPS risk, right? He also told, I don't know if he's gonna type it soon, but he also thought that the tank would start moving to the next pack instead of just standing still at the first pack. So he went in, didn't use misdirect, same as me, and yeah, he fucked it up as well. Only he died and my pets only died, so that's the difference there. Here, what I should be doing, which I'm not doing right now, what I could be doing, I could be just standing in my Field of Blossoms for the 15% increased haste. I should just be standing in there. Why is that? Because when the tentacles come, I just press my turtle, and that way I can deal more effective damage when my cooldowns are still running. So I should be doing that one. But yeah, I did not actually do that, and so it's something that I can improve on for the next time. You do not want to really waste your turtle, but if how do you say that? If the run is going so smooth like this one, and the healer is really up to par, then you can use it more offensively in a way, because you're using it more offensively. So far we are really pulling ahead in the damage department on this like semi single target fight. But as you can see, the marksman is really coming back in. So yeah. Now we're going on to the next phase. I should be using Feign Death here. I'm using my self heal, and I should be using my Feign Death there to reduce the damage. This one, like this tentacle pattern, for some reason I always find the most difficult, because I always get like nervous that I'm in range getting slapped. So yeah, and we only get this pattern this entire dungeon run, which is a bit awkward. So yeah, good shit happens. We have plenty of movability. I don't think that's a word. We can move easily. So here I use my cooldowns, although I do not have Bestial Wrath. That's because we are in the burn phase at the end of the dungeon, and I really want to make sure that my burn is down. I am very aware of the Plaguebound Devoted right in front of me there. Why is that? Because he was spawning into my Wild Spirit, so I instantly get aggro if the tank is not quick. And then if he slaps me 2 times, I'm dead, so be aware of that. But that was this run. I hope you guys liked it. At the end, you can see that the marksman won in the overall damage done, then me as a Beastmaster, and then the survival hunter. I think the numbers between the survival and me would have been a lot closer if he didn't die at the last part of the dungeon. Our damage breakdown, Wild Spirits of course, Beast Cleave, Barbed Shot, make sure, and you can see, and I'm gonna pause it. No, I'm not gonna pause it. I'm gonna go a little bit back. Am I gonna click the damage now? Yes. Now I'm gonna mouse over the barbed shots. There we go. And you can see in the top right corner uptime. This one you want as high uptime as you can. So if you are playing this and you see that your uptime is like 50% or something, then you're really not using your barb shots effectively. You're not splitting your barb shot among different targets. So try and make sure that you do that so your uptime goes up for more overall damage. But guys, I hope you liked this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.